Enki's struggle with the Kur is one of the unusual stories that depict Enki as a warrior. It is also one of the earliest versions of a motif that becomes common much later in the West, the slaying of the dragon. In only this one is Enki a major character. The story is unsatisfactory in the sense that the outcome of the struggle between Enki and the monster, the Kur, is not given in the text. The story is told as a prologue to the main narrative about the hero Gilgamesh. The narrator cuts to the main story without making clear how Enki's struggle with the monster is resolved. There is little doubt, however, that Enki was victorious. The Sumerian word Kur is a difficult concept to interpret. One of its primary meanings is mountain, and from that meaning Kur developed as foreign land, because the mountainous countries bordering Sumer were a continual menace to the Sumerians. The word also meant land, in general. But of more immediate interest to this poem, Kur is also a cosmic concept, identified with the Kigal or Great Below. Thus Kur is also the netherworld. If Kur is thus conceived as the empty space between the earth's crust and the primeval sea, the monster, the Kur, who in this story seizes the goddess Ereshkigal and carries her off to the netherworld, represents the sinister powers of the land of death. In this passage, Enki, possibly acting against the Kur to avenge the violent abduction of the goddess Ereshkigal, is attacked with all kinds of stones. The Kur attacks Enki's boat, front and rear, using besides the stones the primeval waters as well. The poem says, in those days far distant, in those nights far distant, in those years far distant, those remote days, once all the useful things had been turned out, those remote days, once all the useful things had come to be prized. Once bread was tasted in the shrines of the land. Once bread was baked in the ovens of the land. Once heaven had been moved away from earth. Once earth had been split away from heaven. Once the name of humankind was fixed. Once An had carried heaven off. Once Enlil had carried earth off. Once Ereshkigal had been given over to the Kur as a gift from them. He had set sail, and he had set sail, and the father had set sail for the Kur. Against the king were flung the small ones. Against Enki were flung the large ones. Its small ones the stones of the hand. Its large ones the stones of jumping reeds. The keep of Enki's boat like attacking turtles overwhelm. Against the king, the water at the boat's prow devours like a wolf. Against Enki, the water at the boat's stern strikes down like a lion. And now we move on to another story, which is Enki's punishment of Ninurta, part of the text of a Ninurta myth, whose beginning and end were no doubt inscribed on tablets whose contents preceded and followed those of the extant piece. Its contents may be sketched as follows. The first 4 lines contain the concluding part of an address by Amar Anzu to Ninurta, informing him that, because he, Ninurta, had attacked it, the Amar Anzu, violently, at his command, it dropped the the Gishur, the tablet of destiny, of its hand, and these have thus been returned to the Abzu. Stunned by this news, Ninurta laments the loss of the and the powers that go with them, a bitter plaint whose implication Enki apprehended in the Abzu. Rather surprisingly, we next find the Amar Anzu taking his attacker Ninurta by the hand and returning him to the Abzu. There he is greeted joyously by Enki, who blesses him as the victor over the bird, an unrivaled hero whose name will be duly honored. This blessing, however, does not satisfy the ambitious god, who made secret, hostile plans against Enki. The latter, realizing that Ninurta meant to do him serious injury, sent his Swakal Isamud to eject him from the Abzu. Ninurta, however, not only refused to leave, but actually raised a hand against him. Whereupon the troubled Enki fashioned a turtle out of the clay of the Abzu. The turtle proceeded to attack Ninurta, who, however, counterattacked in self-defense. Enki then had the turtle dig an evil pit, into which he threw Ninurta alongside the turtle. He then added insult to injury by scoffing at the struggling Ninurta, calling him a mountain destroyer who could not climb out of a pit, and yet had dared to think of killing him. But now Ninmena, that is, Ninhursag, came to her son's rescue, reminding Enki, the plant-eater, that she had once saved his life. She no doubt demanded that he show his gratitude by delivering Ninurta from his sad predicament and saving his life. The poem says, "At his command your weapon struck me, hard. As I let go the me out of my hand, its me turned back to the Abzu. As I let go the Giz-Hur out of my hand, its Giz-Hur turned back to the Abzu. Its tablet of destiny turned back to the Abzu. I was stripped of the me." At the word of Amar Anzu, the hero Ninurta was stunned. Ninmena gives out a wail. "And what about me? Its me have not fallen into my hand. I am not to exercise the endship of the Abzu. He would not let me, just like the one in the shrine Abzu." Father Enki in the Abzu knew the word that one had spoken. Amar Anzu took the hero Ninurta by the hand, with him drew near to Enki's place, the Abzu. And thus was Utaulu returned to the Abzu by Amar Anzu. The master was delighted with the hero. Father Enki was delighted with the hero. The master Nudimud speaks to him with affection. "Hero, no god among your brother gods could have done so. As for the bird which your mighty weapon has pinioned, from now to eternity you will set your foot upon its neck. Let the great gods give your heroic strength its due. Let your father Enlil do whatever you command. Let Ninmena not design anything like you. Let her give no one the kind of awesomeness you possess. Let her have no one grasp it, awesomeness before you. Monthly may your be constant in the shrine Abzu. Let your name be proclaimed in the seat of honor. The hero, his heart did not spring at this blessing. At his post, how his face darkens, how it pales. His heart turns over great things. His heart is hostile. On the whole universe the hero Ninurta set his sights. He told no one. His heart did not. The great Lord Enki, in his own heart, grasped the meaning of the plan. In his shrine Abzu he stirred up billowing waves. By the house the Sukal Isimud threatened that one. The hero Ninurta refuses to come out, and raised his hand against Isimud. Against him Enki designed a turtle from the clay of the Abzu. Against him he stationed the turtle at the entrance, the gate of the Abzu. Enki kept talking to him at the place of combat, luring him along to the place where the turtle stood. With its sinews the turtle seized his back. The hero Ninurta turned back against its feet. Enki, as if perplexed, says, "Now what is this?" He had it scrape the ground with its claws, had it dig an evil pit. The hero Ninurta he tossed him into it alongside it. The hero did not know how to ascend. The turtle kept on gnawing at his feet with its claws. The great master Enki says to him, "You who set your mind to kill me, the braggart who makes big claims. Whatever made you set your mind against me? What has your past taught you? What indeed is its? To what place has your strength fled? Where is your heroship? You have destroyed mountains. Why is it that now you cannot rise up?" Ninmena learned of this situation. She rips the clothes on her body. "As for you, my plant-eater, who carried it away from you? You, the one whose head does not shake with fear, that who carried it away from you? Enki, that thing that has no name, its name that is the day that does not pour. You, pitiless death, who carried it away from you." That's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with all the exciting new videos. Thank you, and see you soon.